What's up, guys? It's Kyle, Casual Wizard MTG. Sometimes it takes a couple takes, it's jumping around and stuff, it gets me sweating, so I need to fan myself. So back in my first video, I kind of talked about how much I love the artwork of Magic. I think if you play it, if you love Magic, part of the reason we all love it is because of the artwork. It's some of the best artwork in history, if you ask me, and that's not hyperbole to me. I legitimately think this artwork is fantastic. It's my tastes. So when I get a card, what I do is after looking at the artwork, I read the card, see what it does. If it's a creature, I look at its power, I look at its defense, and then I look at it and I say, does that power and defense match the artwork of that creature? And most of the time, it's pretty accurate. On occasion, it's not right. I'm going to show you a couple examples. This isn't a complaint. This is just my observations here. I'm going to throw a card up on the screen because I'm a wizard and I can do stuff like that. So Deathbringer Thoctor, he's a 3/3. And if you look at this guy, he is enormous. I mean, he's a prehistoric rhinoceros, Tyrannosaurus Rex to the 90 millionth like exponential degree, and he's just huge, and he's only a 3/3. He does get +1/+1 counters every time a creature dies, but he should be starting at a point that should be about 6/6 at least. And from the looks of him, this dude is enormous. Nothing's slowing him down. I would say he should have trample. And the reason you can tell he's enormous and he's pissed off, and there's like two little orcs or goblins that are kind of in the foreground that are like, holy shit, let's get the hell out of this freaking cave. This thing is coming after us. You can see the scale of this monster. So this creature is a perfect example of something that I think should definitely be much bigger than what it is stated. To give you kind of a reference, we have a Wildfield Scarecrow who's a 1/4, and he's a scarecrow. He's made of straw. And you're telling me that this Deathbringer Thoctor is out for a nice walk in the fields, and he's plowing through some crops, and then all of a sudden, a scarecrow pops up. This scarecrow is going to step in front of this huge rhinoceros, and he's just going to bounce the shit out of him and said, you shall not pass, Mr. Deathbringer Thoctor. I highly don't think this would happen. This scarecrow can withstand a blow by this Deathbringer Thoctor, and that is not right. So that's one simple example. Then we have the Pride of Lions, who's a 4/4. Do I think 4/4 matches a Pride of Lions? Well, I'm in reference to me being a human and lions being lions, and there's a pride of them. Hell friggin' yeah, there should be a 4/4. But in Magic Land, where there's creatures galore, and they're mythical, and they're huge beasts, when you're saying a Pride of Lions can take out a Deathbringer Thoctor at a 3/3, look at the size of this friggin' thing, this zombie beast. There's no way. It could probably eat the Pride of Lions in 1 or 2, maximum 3 bites here, guys. There's no way this guy should start at a 3/3. And then if you take another card, another example would be the Bubbling Beebles. People, the Bubbling Beebles, which is a 3/3. They look like these little Mickey Mouse bubbles coming out of these pipes. And unless these pipes are like the most enormous pipes in the world, I don't know, like New York City pipes that are probably massive, like 15-foot radius, and so if everybody in New York City just flushed their toilets all at once and all that shit had to come out all at once, that's how big those pipes would need to be for me to be convinced that these Bubbling Beebles are anything of any kind of size that could be a 3/3. It doesn't make any sense. Even if there's a million of these Bubbling Beebles, there are these little cute Mickey Mouse little bubbles, and there's just zero way they can trade blows with the Deathbringer Thoctor and bring the Deathbringer Thoctor to its knees. It is impossible, people. I'm sorry, but the Bubbling Beebles should be like an 0/1 in my opinion. Then we take for example, it works in the other way too, where sometimes sometimes creatures are more powerful or have more defense than their picture would hint at. Sometimes when let's take a card like Thunderskate Familiar. Now this guy's a 1/1. He looks like a pretty gnarly beast. He looks like he could be pretty badass, but there's nothing to skill. There's no reference in this card, right? We don't know if this thing's jumping. He's kind of like crawling over the earth or coming out of the earth in some way, but we don't have a reference to how big this is. There's no person standing next to him. There's no kind of landscape. So he actually could be a 1/1. I will buy this card at a 1/1. I get it. Maybe he is just a small little maybe he's a small like dog-sized beast and he's a 1/1. That makes sense. Then if you take another card like a Trigon Predator, he's a 2/3. He's a 2/3 flying beast. I buy this card. Why? Because there's no true scale reference here. He is flying above the clouds. You can see some spires and steeples also meeting him up in the sky. But we can't really tell. There's no real true reference to the size of this creature. So if they say it's a 2/3, I'll buy it. If they said he was a 1/1, I'd buy it. If they said he was a 5/5, I'd still buy that, just because I don't have any reference for how big this actual creature is compared to other humans or other creatures. These kind of cards I can't say anything about. And then we take something like a Kinsbale Skirmisher. Okay, check this guy out. He's a 2/2. The reason I have a problem with this card is he's a little boy. He's a little boy, and he has a power of 2 and a defense of 2. I don't know too many little boys. That sounds weird, I know, but he looks like a little boy. Maybe he's not. Maybe I think these Kithkin people that were in this set, they have this particular look, and I'm sure he's not literally a little boy. It's like his people are they're kind of like hobbits, I guess. They only get so big, so power is all relative to their size, and I get it. But for intents and purposes of my video, and what I'm talking about, excuse me, this guy's a little boy. And then when you take like an Unruly Mob, excuse me, Unruly Mob, which is a 1/1, you're telling me that this little boy can take out an Unruly Mob? This Unruly Mob is not very unruly, or they are not much of a mob. I will tell you that because I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 people that make up this mob, and together, combined, they make up the 1/1 that they come out onto the battlefield with. And this little boy is going to take him out. This little boy must be on steroids. He don't look on steroids, but I don't know how to explain it, guys. It doesn't make any sense. And then somehow we have like that Shrieking Drake. Let's throw the Shrieking Drake up there. Now this guy, he's a 1/1. And this one, we do get some relative size here. There's a human who is scared for his life, and he is friggin' running away from this dragon thing because he's going to be consumed by the dragon. And you're telling me that this Shrieking Drake can be defeated handily by this little boy Kinsbale Skirmisher. There is no way that that is possible. It just can't happen, folks. There's no little boys that can take out big dragons. I don't care who you are. How to Train Your Dragon, that movie, maybe they can make a good case for this, but this is not How to Train Your Dragon. So this is just a few examples, guys, of how sometimes the artwork doesn't match up with the creatures, in my opinion, in my taste only. Just a couple more examples. I'm not going to talk too much more about it, but I'll throw a couple cards up on the screen. The Grape Hunter and the Canyon Minotaur. We got a 2/2 for the human and a 3/3 for the Minotaur. This shit makes sense to me. There's no size reference. They kind of look like their standard size of what we all might think. The dude looks pretty large. He's large in charge. He looks like, you know, a 6-foot plus type of dude. He's big. He's badass. He's pretty muscular. I wouldn't fuck with him. And then we have the Canyon Minotaur, who's a little bit bigger. He looks probably maybe in real life he'd probably be a foot or 2 taller. And he's an animal. Minotaur, like, as we all know, animals are friggin' strong. We don't, a chimpanzee who's half my size could rip my limbs off. And it wouldn't take, and he wouldn't even, like, sweat at all. He would just, like, rip them off and be like a lollipop to him. There's just nothing to it. So this Canyon Minotaur and Great Pale Hunter, I think they're pretty relative. A 3-3 and a 2-2. I think those are great examples of artwork that matches their power. And then we have something like a Flameboard Viron is a 6-4. He's a huge, like, I don't know, past dragon, I don't know what the hell he is, insect. You can kind of see a dude standing underneath him, which gives you relative size. That this guy is enormous. I'll buy that he's a 6-4 for sure, or a Sky Snare Spider. Excuse me. Sky Snare Spider, he's a 6-6. Spiders, I mean, this dude must be friggin' huge, but it makes sense because normally I'd say there's no way a spider would be 6'6". It'd have to be a friggin' enormous spider, but this makes sense. I mean, he's got a damn eagle in his nest, in his spider web. And eagles, or whatever that kind of bird is, looks enormous as well. I will buy it. I will also buy the Emperor Crocodile. The Emperor Crocodile, oh, look at that mouth, and he's about to eat like some sweet little mongooses or kangaroos or something. I don't know what they are. This Emperor Crocodile is a 5-5, and I sure as shit buy this card's art, and it sure does match that 5-5. I will take that all day long. And then we have the Elite Vanguard. A little bit different. He's a 2-1. I think he matches. I think he matches pretty well. He's obviously an expert sword. Sorry guys, my video got cut off. I'm having problems with this damn camera. It keeps shutting off in the middle of my videos. Anyways, this Elite Vanguard, he's a 2-1, I was saying. He's just dispatched a goblin or an orc. He's taking a break. I don't blame him. It's probably some tough work. I wouldn't want to take on an orc or goblin. I don't know about you. 2-1, I think it's a pretty good example. And then finally, we have a couple of cool cards. Infantry Veteran. This dude's a 1-1. He's got scars all over his face, and his abilities, you can tap him, and he gives another creature +1/+1 until the end of turn, and it's like, I don't know who this dude thinks he is. Like, if he thinks he's a Johnny or something, just trying to defend and throw himself in front of other people to defend them, and he's just sacrificing his life. Dude, he's got scars all over his face. I guess, like, that's his thing, but he is a death wish. Stop. Take care of yourself. You're a 1-1, dude. You got to take care of yourself. You're going to end up with too many scars, too many more scars on your face. You're not going to have a face. You're not going to have a head. Then we have Godot's Irregulars, another 1-1, and I think this is a pretty cool artwork. We have, like, the two soldiers here, the two warriors, and one dude in the front's like, he's like, bring it all. Bring it. Come on, bitches, bring it all. Like, he doesn't care, and then the guy behind him, his mouth is kind of like open, and he's looking up, and he sees the enemy coming, and he knows he's in some shit, and he's like, oh, I think I made a bad decision. I should have never got out of bed. I should have eaten my Cheetos. Or Cheetos. Some people eat Cheetos. Some people eat Cheerios for breakfast. I guess it's all the same. Then we have a Doomed Traveler. This card is awesome. I think it's perfectly named. This 1-1 little dude. You can tell that he is truly the definition of a doomed traveler. There's no way. His ability, even when he dies, like, this card is made for dying because it gives you a 1-1 white spirit creature token if he dies onto the battlefield, and it's just perfect. He is certainly a doomed traveler. It's a perfectly named card. And finally, I don't know, back in the day, before there was Defender, there were walls. I was used to walls. I loved playing with walls. They had like wall of wood, wall of water, wall of stone, wall of air, wall of swords, wall of I think it was skulls. They had so many cool walls, and all intents and purposes, it was the same as Defender. They couldn't attack. Like this wall of ice. It's a 07. Like, it's just awesome. Back in the day, it was just awesome because 07, you could defend yourself from almost every creature back then. I think Wall of Stone might have been the biggest. It was an 08. It was a red. Kind of, the artwork kind of had like a camel sitting next to like the Great Wall of China or whatever it was. But it was an 08, and I used to love that card. You get a couple of those out, and you can't be touched, man. Nobody can come through your walls. And now they have all sorts of crazy walls and defenders and shit. One of my favorites is this wall, this token creature wall. It's from, I have the Eternal Masters edition. I'm not sure what sets it was also in, or if it's just the token from Eternal Masters. I'm not sure. It's a 5/5 wall of water, and I think it's awesome because it truly defines physics in Magic. Because as we all know, or we should know because we learned in school, folks, for every reaction there's an equal and opposite reaction. And I think this wall is perfect. Once you hit it for 5, it will hit you smack in the face for 5. And I think this wall is awesome. That's how all walls should be, in my opinion, because you can't just hit it and not get hit back. And that about wraps it up for the artwork and my discrepancies with some of it today. And no matter what, I love all artwork in Magic. It's fantastic. I love all the artists. And thanks for checking it out, guys. And I'll see you on the next video. Stay casual, stay magical. Kyle from MTG, Casual Wizard MTG, out.